HBO animated series, episode 5, Souls in Balance. And this one is basically the famous adage of Spider-Man: with great power comes great responsibility. So, the Souls in Balance is kind of a complicated title dealing with an episode that doesn't have a lot of spawn in the first 80%. It's about this preacher who has a grenade. He uses grenades. No, again, it's not explained how the preacher got all the grenades, but he has grenades. He's kidnapped kids. He's uses the grenades to kill cops. It's all taking place in the inner city near the alleyways that Spawn is been ruminating in, and he's sort of like just very apprehensive about really doing much of anything and getting involved. So even though Cagliostro is encouraging him and telling him that he kind of has to, nothing actually happens. Then at the end, it kind of gets gritty and kind of moves in that direction. So yeah, the cops go after this guy. It doesn't end well for them. He kind of keeps running around with this kid. Now, I may have missed what comic book this is based on. I may have just not picked up or don't remember. Um, but this is really more of just sort of a lot of character development. It's kind of like a filler episode in some ways, but it's meant to just keep all of the other moving parts of the story chugging along and giving you, the audience, more information than Spawn has. So this is all transpiring. This crime is all transpiring. That's all without Spawn. Very graphic, very intense. He's having these hallucinations of like Scion and being kidnapped and that kind of thing before you end up with this cop. Now, the cop is trying to find the preacher, and he ends up finding this homeless guy that near where Spawn is, and starts like, where is he? Give me your information or whatever, and starts treating him like all of this crazy police brutality type stuff, right? And it becomes ridiculous before Spawn steps in. Now, I admit this is like clippable good. Like there's a line in here about who made you God, not the gun, not the badge. Like it's so good. It's like right here. Let me see if I can play it.
Odd little man, not that gun.
Let me back up just 1 minute. Here we go.
Who made you God, little man? Not that gun, not that uniform, nothing.
Oh man, Keith David. Gosh, that's so good. So that's really, and then he just kind of leaves him hanging there, which of course puts him in the crosshairs when the preacher comes back by again, and then we cut away. So that's the thrust of the episode, is that crime and criminal at large. Now, backstory number 2. Wynn is got this politician in his pocket running for president because his son is Billy Kincaid, a child serial killer. So that's what's happening here. There's like all the backstory about what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. I need this bill done. It's a lot of just stuff going on, but you're trying to get a handle on how Jason Wynn's tentacles run into all of the arms of politics in Washington, how bills are being done, controlling Congress, controlling Senate, even the president, all of that. So it's he's sort of a Lex Luthor light, kind of maybe more like a Maxwell Lord, maybe, or the way Vandal Savage would handle the operations and things like that. Just those type of figures in the Spawn verse at this point. Okay, Sam and Twitch are on the case. By the way, this version of Sam and Twitch is kind of getting on my nerves because Twitch is so oddly submissive to Sam, and in that Bendis run I keep referencing, they're better than that. Now, I don't remember them in the comic book being this way either, but that may be just me. This is Wynn and Chapel having this conversation about getting to Wanda, because she's on that case with that Billy Kincaid situation. It kind of puts everything in large. So Chapel's on that case. So that's what's playing out with the backstory. That's what all of this is. So it'd be silly for me not to be critical of all of this. because we don't get a lot of Spawn. So that was again another 7 minutes or so with no Spawn before he comes back, and he's really not doing anything. He's like nothing, none of this has anything to do with me. I'm not getting involved. And even the street urchins are kind of like having a little problem that he's some sort of super powered monster. So when Cagliostro is calling him out on it, nothing's he's not doing anything about it, right? So that's kind of what's taking place here before you get to Billy Kincaid on the left and the clown. Now, remember the clown. The clown is Violator. He's a demon, right? Now, he can take on different forms, and here he's a clown trying to dupe Billy Kincaid and kind of send him in a certain direction, right? Look at how good. I got to be honest, I love how Billy Kincaid is done. He is just this crazy uber. It totally is a believable Fredo, like without a doubt, 100%. All right, so that's all set up here. And then you get to Cyan. Wanda's distracted on the phone. And then, of course, Ice Cream Man is really Billy Kincaid. And Cyan is disappeared. Okay? Then you have the culmination where the police are sort of around, where we get to the preacher situation where Sam and Twitch have got him cornered. It's done really, really well because okay, so I actually liked Batman animated series approach of being very cinematic. This is one of those sequences where I think they try to be a little cinematic, but it's just not quite there. But the pacing and stuff like that works very well to give you that feel. Like you really feel like you're in it, and how it all plays out. Very emotional. It's delivered well. The sniper shot is there. There is a twist, though, of course. And then, of course, Spawn having a presence because he saves the kid from the explosion. It's like, you can't stay on the bench during this war. It's just not how things are going to operate. And then there's the big reveal with the preacher at the end. So, just, you know what? I just love the fact that we can get a nice, raw, gritty comic book adaptation done well. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to work in one of the others because I don't remember. I was never a massive fan of Wildcats, but I wouldn't have a problem maybe watching in a couple episodes of that and giving you my thoughts on that as well. Because it's done during the same time. Obviously, I've used that trailer, that little teaser, in some of my stuff before as well. But this Spawn stuff, man, it's so good. I know that people don't like Spawn; they think it's all very one-dimensional. But the irony is, the show itself is even kind of doing Spawn some disservice because it leaves out sort of the spiritual warfare. So remember we mentioned last episode with Angela showing up, but her going to Gabriel. These are angels, so you're really dealing with the angels versus the Hellspawn, how the rules play out on who can go after whom and how those kinds of that plays out better in the comic book. And I know McFarlane is not always the greatest of writers, but he did get other people to come in. I mean, Neil Gaiman is the guy behind Angela, so Frank Miller does an issue, Alan Moore does an issue, things like that. Dave Sim. So anyway, yeah, you guys watching? Have you watched? We got a favorite thing? What do you want to talk about? I love it. Love hearing from you guys. Take care, everybody. Till next Saturday, I am Pops.